Hello, I'm Henry Bluefield and welcome to the channel. So what is Web3? You may have seen across various social platforms this sort of term now emerging. You may already clued up and own some NFTs and own digital assets, or you may have no idea what Web3 is and what do you mean the third web? What was the first and the second? So in this video I want to do a quick fire round into what exactly Web3 is, just to give you a basic understanding, and it's something that we'll dive more into within the channel in the coming months and years. Web3, the way I like to think of it is think of it as a third generation web. So it's the third generation of the internet, or third iteration of the internet. In the first, this is where we had written communication that was suddenly able to transfer via an internet connection across the world. So the idea of putting letters onto a digital platform. This happened sort of in like the early 80s. We started being able to like email. If you think back like to old films where you see these big boxy screens with like some green text on, it just seems to look pretty alien. Well, that's how it all started. Not that I was around then. I'm taking this from history books. If you're watching this and you're like over 40, I've just made you feel so old, sorry. But that was the first generation, first introduction we had to the internet. Many of people, when it did manifest, had their doubts and thought this internet thing won't be around for long. Now look where we are, it's completely taken over our lives, a bit too much in some respects. And the first generation of the internet was where PCs were really able to communicate via one another from a distance. Before that, there was no real way for a computer, unless you've got cables connected and you're plugged in like from one desk to the other, but otherwise I could not get anything from my PC over across to Japan, to New York, to San Francisco. Like there was no way. Well, send a letter, post it and take days. With the introduction of the internet, first generation, it meant I could send an email. Amazing. Second generation is where we get into like the early 2000s, the introduction of social media. Sort of how it started when you think of like MySpace, Facebook. If you had a MySpace, I never even had MySpace. I was like, after that, I think Bebo was like a thing when I was really young, but Facebook was the first real platform that I had an introduction into what this social media was, or like MSN. I had MSN actually. These introductions in the early 2000s is where we were able to start sharing our lives, creating content, sharing videos, sharing photos, and obviously this is augmented over the course of years. When you think back to early 2000s, the first introduction of the Facebook platform, obviously back then it was only for like Harvard students and university students as it grew, where it then very quickly became this global platform with millions of users. And now it can consume much of our life, and Facebook alone owns like Instagram, WhatsApp, where we seem to spend a lot of time. And you've now got new players in the game, TikTok, you've now got like Snapchat. We're all constantly communicating in various different ways, and it seems to just be getting easier and easier and quicker, and we're just becoming more and more impatient. Whole nother story. But that's the second generation of web. Think video sharing, Instagram, influencers, all this kind of thing has all come, podcasting has all come out of the second generation of the internet, where we are still separate from it, but it exists on this digital platform and we can access it via computers, our phones, tablets, our smartwatches. But what now is Web3? What is the third generation of the internet? Web3 is kind of the digital augmentation of reality, and as well where we start to find more aspects of life transferred into this new space of the digital world. So think digital currencies, NFTs, digital assets, where our lifestyle can actually start to be lived within a new world, this virtual reality world, where in the future it'll be something where our reality and virtual reality becomes indistinguishable, and we start to build our own lifestyles, our own wealth, our own riches within another realm that's separate from life, which is a bit of a bizarre thought. But yeah, you could have people that are like multimillionaires and or philanthropists and the next Hugh Hefner, whatever, in the virtual world, surrounded by money, assets, all kinds of things, whereas in reality they're just living in a shed and they've got a computer that they access and headset. If you've been researching this at all, you might have seen Ben Francis, the founder of Gymshark, and one of his team, they actually created a podcast the other week within VR, within Web3, that could be accessed and watched, where you've actually started to see it's as if you're in an environment. And Facebook has alluded to this, the concept of being able to have meetings and Zoom calls, but this weird amalgam of Zoom calls and office meets where you're in a room all your senses are engaged, but you're not actually there. Obviously, we're at the provincial stages where it just looks like you're in, like, if you've played like the Wii console, you go in and you've got these weird little characters with parts of their limbs missing, but they look human in some respects. That's kind of what we've got at the moment, but obviously that will continue to develop. And further, you're starting to get new players in the game as well, or companies emerging purely for the specification of Web3 applications. Stephen Bartlett, if you follow him at all, has now launched ThirdWeb, a company dedicated to providing services around Web3, whether that's creating NFTs, digital currencies, other digital assets, to be able to interact with Web3 as easy as possible, making it simple to enter that world and learn about it. Is Web3 a positive future? Is it negative? It could be one of either, and it can be, same with as we've seen the mass adoption of the second generation of the internet. There will be many people that are for it, that are bullish, and many that are bearish. There will be people that say it's destroyed our society, it's crippling people's sense of own emotional balance and mental well-being. There is elements to it, of course, there's validity in that statement, and there are people that have become addicted to it, and there's a lot of toxicity shared within the platform, but also it's done a lot to connect us, like globally. I've gone on holiday and made friends with people in Australia, come back, I'm still friends with them, still able to connect and still be able to see what they're up to on a day-to-day basis, and likewise they're able to interact with me, and it's amazing. They're the opposite side of the globe, and yet I can connect with them easily. It's mind-blowing. And the ability for any platform or different sectors to just grow exponentially because of this connectivity. If I want to know something now, I just Google it, it's there, it's in front of me. And even just within my own lifestyle, just like skateboarding, when I started skating, there would be companies that would release videos, full-length features of the team where they'd all have their own individual parts that they've worked on for years. And you'd have to wait for that release. You'd then go and buy the DVD from your local skate shop or whatever. You didn't really have videos online. And whereas now, I can go and meet my mates at the skate park, film a few clips, and it'll be online with it that afternoon. But what that allows is just us all to learn and become aware of what's going on in the world. New tricks, new ideas, new spots, new skate parks. It's augmenting that whole relationship between us all, where we can just learn. And the growth rate of skateboarding in terms of what people are capable of doing on a plank of wood is just mind-blowing. Complete tangent here, but I'm just trying to drill the points of the benefits of Web 2. So Web 3 I have my own debate with it of like, will it be a benefit to us, or will it sort of become the darker side of the internet? There's a lot of positive powers to it. I don't know, what do you think? Let me know in the comments below. This has just been a quick introduction into what is Web3, the third generation of the internet. If it's been helpful for you, hit the like button. And of course, if you want to learn more about Web3, other sectors within it in terms of different currencies that are coming about, digital assets, what they are, NFTs, all this sorts of things and more, then make sure to subscribe and hit the notification button. Until next time, bye.